right, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to You Don't Know Ball. I got one last hurrah for us for the mock draft sims because me and Hunter got something we're cooking up for y'all tomorrow, and then we got the draft live stream on Thursday. We're getting so close. So without further ado, and again, I just want to disclaim, we had, I felt it was only right. We had to come back, give PFF one last chance to give us a somewhat realistic mock. If it goes off the rails, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to give PFF one last fair shot. I saw they updated their rankings one last time. So truly, without further ado, let's get right into it. First off the board, as always, no explanation needed, Caleb Williams. All right, and we got Drake May going number 2. Again, as I've been saying, I do expect Jaden Daniels right here at the slot. But after the recent trauma, could we just maybe see Drake May come back off this board instead? A little plot twist. Hey, I wouldn't mind a little crazy start because we already, like I've been saying, we know what number 1 is going to be. We know what number 1 is going to be. But number 2, beyond, it's already a wild card. You got to love when the draft is going to go like this. Man, it's going to be so much fun on Thursday. It's going to be Marvin Harrison for the Patriots, isn't it? Yep. You know what? I'm trying. I said we had to come give PFF one last chance. They're breaking my heart already. Yeah. We've only seen this one about 7 or 8 times. It's not like the Patriots need a quarterback or anything, right? I must be going crazy. And then, yep, no surprise. I should have just said it because we knew it was coming. Oh, we knew it was coming. Malik Neighbors to the Cards at number 4. Again, I do expect Malik next receiver off the board, but why? PFF, why? Why does Marv have to go 3 every time? We've had months now to uncode this error. We've had... regretting not doing a PFN mock already, but you know what? We're already off the walls. We just got to keep it going, man. All right, and then to the Chargers at pick 5. No surprise again. It's what we've seen many times in these sim mocks. I'm not going to harp on it. The big 3 going in a row. Are you going to see the Patriots taking Marv? I would say we're looking at about a 0.000001% chance. Obviously, nothing is impossible if things were to go this way. I don't even know the right words, man. We're already off the walls. We're just going to have to rock with it. All right, and then the Giants here at number 6. Definitely a wild card. Again, I would expect them to be taking QB. However, if they didn't go that route, because no matter what route they go, as I've been saying, you're not going to get, immediate win value out of your guy. You take Joe Alt, you're going to have to play him at right tackle, which I'm already not a fan of. But, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Giants do this because they do desperately need trench help. It is what it is, and you're definitely getting, in my opinion, the best O-lineman in this year's class in Joe Alt. Dude, you can't make this shit up. I'm considering just scrapping this and starting a PFN mock, but it's not right because, like I said, we got to give PFF one last shot. But PFF, I don't know what's going on with these mock sims, man. Man, do they need to be redone. Stressing me out. Again, I love Coop. I'm harping. Y'all have known this if you listen to any of these sim mocks. I had his top 15 talent in this year's draft, but to the Titans at 7 with every other need to help their young quarterback who's on a rookie deal, yeah, you're not taking Cooper to Gene at pick 7. All right, redeeming ourselves a little bit here. We got LATU coming off the board at pick 8, which again is what I honestly at this point expect the Falcons to do. I think that this is the first edge I expect off the board. Let's say the more tape you crunch, the more you watch every edge. It is very clear that LATU possesses the most skill far and away as of right now. Again, questions around the health. Has he already reached his ceiling? To me, it's kind of just bullshit at this point. You go watch him, you'll realize this dude has motor, bag, everything. The only thing you're concerned about is the health. But the more you watch him, the less you're concerned about it because you've seen 2 years of very consistent, dominant tape. I expect LATU to be the first edge off the board, bottom line. Oh, right, and then definitely shaking it up here. But again, a lot of rumblings have been happening. If the Bears are going to go a defensive player, you would very likely expect it to be Byron Murphy, not Drazon Newton. I know Illinois fans cheesing at this one. Drazon Newton fans loving this one. But realistically, if the Bears are not going to take, because in this mock, obviously, too, the receivers are already off the board. If they're not going to do Brock Bowers, whoever else, and an offensive lineman, offensive weapon, I like Drazon Newton here, but I would like Byron Murphy more, and I think much more realistically expect if they don't go offense, I do expect this pick to be Byron Murphy. I'm give myself some credit. I've been ahead on the curve on this one for a while. I've been saying Byron Murphy at pick 9 to the Bears. Bears fans been hating. I'm talking more about my just the Bears fans I know in my life. I haven't really seen any comments hating on it. I know it's not the consensus right now. Bears fans don't love it. Promise you this. If Byron Murphy ends up a Bear, you guys will love him soon. And you guys will regret all the complaining you were doing about the potential Byron Murphy selection. When I tell you, I'm literally in shock looking at this right now. Like, the PFF sim mocks are fucked. Quinyon Mitchell at pick 10 to the Jets? And y'all saw, I'm not losing it. I had the sliders all adjusted. Needs. Biggest need. I had randomness on minimal. Like, I wanted there to be some, you know what I mean? Some picks that were a little, questionable, where it made sense. Not Quinyon Mitchell at pick 10 to the Jets, who already have 3 of the league's top 20 graded corners. Wasted pick. What a surprise. I say sarcastically. As we see Brock Bowers come off the board for like the 5th or 6th time in these PFF sim mocks, man. I'm so happy the real draft is coming, man. These are making me start to lose my mind. I don't know how y'all feel about these PFF mocks, but like, Lord, stressing me out. Especially when, let me just double check if I'm not losing it. Yeah, no, I'm not. Because multiple of the Vikings QB guys would still be on the board here. Vikings need a QB. I hate these PFF sim mocks, man. I'm sorry. I'm at a loss of words. All right, and then Sean Payton doing a triple backflip because he says, my goodness, all these other teams apparently got hijacked by a coup to make the pick because somehow Jane Daniels is sitting here at pick 12. And you got to love it if you're a Broncos fan in this sim mock, even though without the Broncos trading up, this is just incredibly unrealistic. Makes no sense. But hey, this mock already went off the walls. I'm already just talking my shit because the mock went off the walls. Let's just enjoy it. Let's relish it. It's the last one. Let's just see how crazy PFF can get for us. Got Jane Daniels here to the Broncos at pick 12. Man, oh man. Crazy, crazy. All right, so Byron Murphy to the Raiders at pick 13. You know what? Interesting, because it makes sense. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't make sense. But the thing about it is, if this was the route they were to go if he's available, you basically are saying you're giving up on Tyree Wilson. Because then now we're trying to kick him to the inside. Well, he's not going to really have much of a chance if we take Byron Murphy, besides being a rotational piece. And yeah, maybe if he starts to pop as a rotational piece, you're getting value there. But you're basically already giving up on your first-round pick from last year if this was the pick you were to make. And I don't necessarily think that that's what the Raiders would be wanting to do as high as they pick Tyree Wilson. Now, however, certainly a possibility, and y'all know how I feel about Byron Murphy. Again, I'm very high on Byron Murphy, so if he ends up a Raider, Raiders fans should be ecstatic. All right, and then pick 14 to the Saints, we got Talise Fuaga. This would be far and away one of the best case scenarios. As a Saints fan, I'm telling you. You know, I would love to have Talise on the Saints, whether we want to play him at guard, whether we want to play him at tackle. Would absolutely love it. One of the best case scenarios for the Saints, far and away. All right, and then we got Terrion Arnold off the board right here at pick 15 to the Colts. One of the most expected picks if the Colts don't move up or down, and if someone, namely the Eagles, doesn't shoot up for Terrion Arnold. Now, again, I'm a big fan of Terrion. You've heard me harp on this for a while. CB1 in this year's class. DeGene is a safety to me. You know, you've heard it 1,000 times. You won't have to hear it anymore after today. But yeah, so if they don't move up, no one else moves up for Terrion, I would expect him to go right here at pick 15 to the Colts. All right, and then pick 16 to the Seahawks. Definitely seen this one a bunch of times by now. However, still a good pick. I would say, though, again, I would very much expect them to go interior or to trade down and still go interior O-line. But you do also have a very big needed edge. Now, all of a sudden, like I say every time, Boye Mafe, Dallas Turner, we're getting this freaky athletic edge duo. You got to love it if you're a Seahawks fan. Wouldn't be a bad use of the pick. And again, potential blue chip guy in Dallas Turner. So it's definitely not a bad selection. I would personally go O-line, but it is what it is. All right, and into the Jaguars here at pick 17, we got Jared Verse. Seen this one once recently, but we haven't seen it a ton until we saw it recently. We haven't seen this one really prior to that. And it's certainly a route they could go, just as I just said about Dallas Turner. Another, potential blue chip guy, Jared Verse is in this year's class. The Jaguars definitely need an edge. And if they don't go DB, I would definitely expect them to go edge. All of a sudden, this D-line really coming together. Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, Jared Verse. Yeah, all of a sudden, D-line definitely starting to become full of firepower. All right, then we got Troy Fautanu to the Bengals here at pick 18. And as I've said every time that we've seen this one mocked, this is definitely one of the dream scenarios for the Bengals and Troy Fautanu. For Troy, you'll probably play right away. But then also, with the versatility you have, you're always going to have somewhere on this line. Whether you get kicked around next year, if things don't work out as well at guard, we'll be able to get you back out to tackle. Because likely, maybe we're not going to be able to re-sign, Trent, however, if Trent's injured, maybe that's going to... There's a lot of contingencies. You get my point. I don't want to start rambling. But the bottom line is, you have a lot of, different holes you could fill on this Bengals O-line if you're Troy. And Troy, one of the guys that I would say, one of my highest graded tackles, a guy I love, and I just, every team's going to love that versatility. And just for a team like the Bengals, who definitely could use that versatility to the highest degree, I think it would be a fantastic spot for him right there in Cincinnati. All right, and then it's just another pick to stress me out and piss me off. But you know what? I hope y'all are laughing along with me at this point because it's just ridiculous. But you know what? You only have, we only have basically 12 more picks to go after this, so... We don't have simulated picks. We don't have to stress about these sims for much longer. We'll be able to see what actually happens. Okay, it's not going to be this. J.J. McCarthy to the Rams. Pick 19. I'm not even going to say anything about it other than in the dream, magical fairyland that this is happening in. Would be an absolutely fantastic situation for J.J. But him falling to pick 19 is unrealistic at this point. And like I said, in the 0.00001% chance the universe of this is happening in. Fantastic scenario for JJ. Definitely, I think JJ will benefit most from sitting, but I just don't believe it's going to be to the Rams. All right, and then we got Aldo Fashanu falling to the Steelers here. Definitely a fantastic pick. One of the rare ones in today's mock, or the realistic where it makes some sense. But you know what, jokes aside, if you're a Steelers fan and Olu ends up in your lap, you got to be really happy about it. You can do the same thing you just did with Broderick Jones last year. Let him sit, let him get acclimated. Olu is still but he's pretty rough as a run blocker, but he's very, very high ceiling. You love the way he glides as a pass protector. So, and for a team like the Steelers that just invested heavy in the quarterback position, having them go pass pro over someone who's more of a mauler makes sense to me. Oh, right, we've seen this one so many times in a row now. It's kind of getting ridiculous. I don't really know how we're seeing it so many times in a row. Because I think there's a very, very fair chance he'll go earlier than this. I don't know how much earlier, but I think he's going to. I would expect him to go earlier than this personally. But J.C. Latham, pick 21 to the Dolphins. I would expect him to play guard here, but again, there's definitely room for, you could play him a tackle, move someone else over, however you want to go about that. But I love his ceiling at guard. I love his ceiling at tackle. And if you're the Dolphins, you need O-lineman. You got to protect Tua. It is what it is. So I would expect him to go O-line, and J.C. Latham would be a fantastic route to go. All right, now how much want to bet it's going to be Nate Wiggins? Oh, hey, look at that. PFF switching it up on me last second. I think this is like the first time, it may be the only time, that the Eagles didn't take Nate Wiggins right off the board here at pick 22. I know some of our viewers are going to be happy about that one, some Eagles fans that watch these. Adonai Mitchell's to the Eagles. You know what? I mean, I don't hate it. I would say I do think that going DB or linebacker is much more of a necessity. But you add A.D. Mitchell to this roster that's already loaded, and now all of a sudden, this receiving room is just, man, oh man. It's going to be really tough to guard the Eagles, as long as they can protect Jalen, give him time, which we know about this O-line they should be. So I wouldn't mind the pick at all. It would be definitely a surprising, kind of shocking one, but hey, you know what? I like it, and I know some Eagles fans will like it as opposed to Nate Wiggins. And then we have Bo Nix again to the Vikings. If you've watched any of these other sim mock reactions, namely only the PFF ones, you feel my frustration by now. We've literally seen the combo of Brock Bowers and Bo Nix like 4 or 5 times. Just ridiculous. Yeah. It's not even like it's a bad combo. It's just the fact that this has happened this many times in the simulation. This is tiring. It's also unrealistic that they would have passed on the QB earlier when one of their guys, there hasn't been much linking of Bo Nix to the Vikings. These PFF sim mocks can definitely be improved a lot next year. Let's just say that. All right, and then at pick 24 here to the Cowboys, we got Amarius Mims. And as I say every time we see this pick, I love it. I think this is definitely one of the routes the Cowboys would be thinking about going. They always take super, super high ceiling O-linemen, churn out the flaws, and all of a sudden, we have super productive pros. With Amarius, it'd be another case example of that same route, and I don't expect them to deviate from what they've been doing so well. So a guy like Amarius, a guy like a Guyton, probably the route the Cowboys are going to go. Oh, right. Then we got Graham Barton right here, pick 25 to the Packers. Again, we've definitely seen this one a lot recently, but it also makes plenty of sense. If he's available right here, I would expect them to go a route similar to a Graham Barton, a JPJ, however they want to go about it, filling out that interior. Graham Barton, one of the guys who is definitely kind of, I don't want to say slept on, because to people that really been paying attention, he's been rising throughout the boards this whole process. But a lot of people, you mentioned Graham Barton, and they might not even really know much about him. Graham Barton, definitely one of those guys who's going to go earlier than a lot of people who have been paying a lot of attention think. I think even you could see Graham Barton go fairly earlier than this, to a team like the Seahawks or something like that. So, but wherever you get him in this first round, I do think you're getting good value if you have an interior need. And if he falls to the Packers, good landing spot. All right, and then we got the Bucs taking Nate Wiggins off the board right here. This is a very rare example where this is insane, because it's like you never see this anymore at this point in the process. I actually think this is like one of the first and probably only picks we've seen in this mock where we haven't seen it yet along the board in any of the simulations we've done. But you know what? I like it. Like the way the Bucs play defense, that ceiling that Nate has, that range he has. They do need a DB, definitely, desperately. Nate Wiggins is one of those guys with a very high ceiling, questionable floor. Right, it's definitely there's some range there, but a team like the Bucs, they desperately need a DB taking a shot. They're in that take a shot range. I wouldn't mind Nate Wiggins to the Bucs at all. And I was gonna say, I thought we maybe get another mock, just maybe, where the Cardinals wouldn't double up on receiver with their 2 first-round picks, but no. It's another mock where the Cardinals doubled up with 2 receivers in their first-round picks. And as I said, if you watch the other ones, you know how problematic this is. Every single sim mock, for whatever reason, except for like one, the Cardinals use both these first-round picks on receivers. And all I'm saying is, me personally, that's not the route I would go about it. As much as I would love Brian Thomas Jr., being added to the same roster as Malik Neighbors, especially as an LSU fan, I just think you have better, there's other things you got to fill. You need to protect Kyler. There's still other guys on the board. Cough, JPJ, cough. Man, oh man. Just doesn't make sense to me personally. But if it's the route they go, and it ends up being fireworks, and I look like a jackass, I'll apologize. But I do think you have to go O-line with one of these 2 picks. All right, and then we got Kool-Aid McKinstry right here to the Bills. You could look at it like it's your Tre'Davious White replacement, but the reality is the Bills already have one of the best DB rooms in the league as far as corners. Let me clarify. As far as corners go, you got 3 guys in there that are very productive starters, very productive in this defense. And when they had to step up for Tre'Davious White, they did, and they did a fantastic job. So I think taking a corner right here, as much as I love Kool-Aid, just doesn't really make much sense for the Bills. All right, and then we got the Lions going Troy Franklin, just ignoring the other needs. But I kind of like this one, because in the 2-rounder me and Hunter did yesterday, Hunter shocked me a little bit. He went with A.D. Mitchell right here. But, I was thinking, you add another receiver, add some real just fireworks to this offense where all of a sudden, man, everywhere on the field, everybody's a threat, including Jahmyr Gibbs. There's passing threats all over this field. I get it. It makes sense. You get another field stretcher with Troy Franklin and a big target at that. I wouldn't mind it at all. As much of a wild card as it is, it's definitely a fun pick here for the Lions. All right, then we got the Ravens taking Ladd McConkey. And I love it because it's simple. You want a more short-handed guy, the third and short, just, a guy who just runs real crispy routes. He's going to be exactly where you need him to be. That's Ladd McConkey. And it's kind of the one guy that the Ravens have been kind of missing for the past few seasons. Lamar needs his just third down money target. That's what you're getting with Ladd McConkey. So I think it's a fantastic pick, and I would not be surprised at all to see the Ravens go this route on draft night. All right, and then this is a pick I love. PFF redeemed themselves here at the end. You redeem yourselves here at the end. I'm going to give credit where it's due. These last few picks I love. Mikey Sainristil, man, oh man. One of my favorite players in the draft. I've been gassing him if you didn't know. It's just pure football player. A guy where if he was younger, we'd be talking about him going much earlier than he is right now. Yes, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but you put on that tape. These guys, he wants to play football. He plays football. He's there every down, communicating where he needs to be. Mike Sainristil, I do believe could potentially be real first-round talent. The Niners are going to be the one apparently in this mock. Last one we're going to do simulation to say, we're going to turn him first-round talent. And if this was the route that the Niners went, if they don't go O-line, would not be surprised at all. All right, you know how this goes. It's moment of truth time. We got to wait, see. We can't see the last pick till we get the whole draft sheet. See where we're going here. Oh, and then switching it up, but I love it because this is what I was just saying yesterday where, if you're a Chiefs fan, everybody, or just the public, seems to be so in on like they have to take a receiver at pick 32. Like they need a receiver. Guys, this year's receiving class is, I mean, just so deep. It's ocean deep. It's like Pacific Ocean deep. I mean, you don't have to worry about taking a receiver right away. You take an edge rusher with a super high ceiling, like Adese Isaac, with some versatility. We can play him on this line in a few different spots. You know, all of a sudden, you're adding more firepower to one of the most important units on the entire team, besides that offensive line. Yeah, you know me. I'm big on my trenches. I'm not going to ever change. And if you take Adese Isaac here at pick 32, I think you'd be getting great value if you're a Chiefs fan. All right, and that will do it for the mock draft simulated reactions, at least this year. You know we'll be back next year. We got so much more real draft content coming for y'all soon. I'm so excited to be able to finally move past the guessing, the simulating, the thinking what's going to happen. Well, we're getting real close to see what's going to really happen. And as I said, me and Hunter got something fun coming for y'all tomorrow. And then after that, it's time for the real draft, baby. So strap in, get that seatbelt on, and let's get ready for a crazy, crazy Thursday night. Hope you all have a great rest of y'all day. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed, drop a like, drop a sub. We'll see you next time.